So we're running the Allen & Heath dLive CDM32. It's like the core of our setup. Allows us to travel pretty much anywhere with the same show setup. And we're using different surfaces for some shows. In most cases, we travel the C1500. On this run, we're only doing 6 shows in Europe, so we're trying to reduce the cost a little bit and condense our setup a little bit because we're doing a lot of flights. So, you know, we can either travel a small little surface or we can hire a bigger surface locally, but the main thing is we've got that brain, the CDM rack allows us to transport the same settings everywhere. The band are running a lot of direct channels. They don't run any guitar amps. They have a large drum kit. We travel a full complement of stage cables, which means we're completely self-sufficient wherever we go. I know I can get the same consistency from night after night using the same microphones, the same cables, the same channels, everything. So that's what we're doing at the moment. Whenever we have a Dante card on board, we'll always use it to multi-track. So some cases in Australia, I'll travel with the Dante card. Tonight, the console I have has a Dante card, so I'll be using it to multi-track. When I was first looking into it, mainly it was how much power the console will have, but also how flyable it is. In Australia, we don't really do drive tours like you do here in Europe or in the US, where you can get on a bus or something. Australian tours are fly tours. You fly from one capital city to the next. The drives between are 8, 10, 12, 15 hours between cities, and to go from Adelaide to Perth is probably like a 2.5 day drive. So it's just every show you fly between. So to have the wing set up, obviously you can put it in a case and put it on aircraft and take your setup wherever you go. That was the main reason, I guess, but the power is probably the biggest reason. The amount of output buses allow me to run 7 sets of stereo in-ear monitors for the band and crew, and me do front of house mix, and up to 16 effects units. Just the power of the console is the main draw. We can go in and just be self-contained, not really be concerned about how the festival's travelling on the day and that kind of thing. I can pull up a mix from a previous festival and know that I've got a complete front of house mix ready to go. The band don't have to rely on monitor engineers. They're comfortable with their in-ear monitor mix, and they know that they can perform consistently based on what they're getting. It was a little tricky to try and reduce everything to such a small format, but I think the thing is I've done about 50 shows on the C1500 with this band. I'm very comfortable with the show file. I have a lot of snapshots set up to automate a lot of tasks. So really, I guess the most complicated part was to put everything from 12 faders down to 8, and put my 19 soft keys down to a row of 8. Those are the things, but I guess using snapshot or scenes allows me to automate more parts of the process, of the mix process of this band. It's been great. I'm actually really surprised. It's been a lot of fun. I turn up with this tiny little console and everybody laughs at me, and I have an absolute blast. It's great. I use the 76 compressor on the main vocalist. I love that one. I also use the opto compressor on the matrix, the PA matrix. One trick that I like to use is that I like to ride the master fader throughout the set a lot. This is a very dynamic band. They go from this jazz thing to funk to really heavy, back to really crazy stuff. They're very erratic. So I use the master fader quite a lot. What using the opto compressor on the matrix allows me to do is push the left and right harder into the compressor. So when they go into the heavy sections, I turn the left and right master up, and it hits the compressor harder to give the illusion that it sounds heavier and meatier, and it's just more compressed really. So I love it. Love the opto compressor. They rehearse with a different console when we're not in tour mode, and every time I bring the Allen Heath to their rehearsal room, they're just like, oh. They just talk about how clear it is and how much better it is. It's a noted change every time they we get them set up in the rehearsal room. They absolutely comment about it. They absolutely love it. I actually feed the front of house mix to some of the band members, so they get the front of house mix and then they add a little bit more of themselves, or the click track, or talk to stage mic and that kind of thing. So they actually get to hear a full mix in their ears, which they absolutely love.